These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, June 5th, Celtics-Mavericks Finals Media Day. I just got back from there. I sat in 2 hours of traffic, so that wasn't very fun. But alas, it is what it is. It was the worst traffic I've ever had to sit in my life. It was, and I don't get why. It's like, I drove home at 2:30 on a Wednesday. Like, why would there be traffic at that time? But anyways, as you're listening to this, the NBA Finals start later tonight. We finally made it. But before we get to that, we'll talk about Media Day, all that stuff. Sam, how is your day going? I assume you didn't have to sit in the same traffic, so maybe you're in a slightly better mood.
Yes. In a better mood. Somebody just tagged me in the jersey schedule for the series, actually, so I'm not in that much better of a mood. This is terrible.
I will say, I mean, we can just start with this because we're not going to actually talk about it for too long, but I don't care about the jerseys. It is whack. They're not wearing green at all in the first 4 games. I'll give you that. That is I don't like it.
It is awful. This is so bad. I don't even know how to react to it. I got nothing for the guy that tweeted at me. I mean, I'm still going to do the tweets every game. Game 1, only honorable game in the whole series. I've seen the whole series. All terrible.
I will say.
Actually.
What?
Game 6, Celtics are doing no wrong. But
I don't think the Celtics are doing wrong in games 3 and 4 either. It's not their fault. We talked about this before it started. It's not their fault.
No, I knew this was coming. It's very sad. But game 2, ball was in their court, punted. Wearing black jerseys at home is never good.
If they're undefeated.
It doesn't matter. Not in the finals. Never seen it. You have to go with what works. And I mean, I guess they care about game 1, but I mean, we all sat here the whole series, this season, and I mean, what are we doing? This is embarrassing.
All right. I don't want to get into it because this will just only end in a back and forth that is productive for nobody. Like I said, I just got back from Finals Media Day. Also a reminder, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We'd appreciate it very much. Finals Media Day happened. There were far too many people at the Garden. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of big crowds. There are big crowds. I think it's just for the people who are actually covering the games. I don't think anybody. I genuinely think that is how many people will be at the Garden for the games, and it concerns me because there were an obscene amount of people there. And it wasn't like there was just there were some more beat guys, but most of the people, local people, were just the same people who people the organization's expanded for the playoffs. But there's a whole ton of international people. There's extra national media. It's just packed to the brim with everybody you could possibly expect to be there. And they were all there. The way Media Day works is everything kind of happens at once. So it's not like they all go to the same podium. They have 3 podiums, quote unquote podiums on the court, and then 1 in the home game press conference room. So example for the Celtics, the home game press conference room was Joe Mazzulla for 10 minutes, Tatum for 10 minutes, Brown for 10 minutes, then Holiday for 10 minutes, back to back. But simultaneously, Joe was at 1:30. At the same time at 1:30, Brissett was on one podium, Horford was on one podium, and Porzingis was on one podium. So they had almost everybody on the roster speak. It's just they were all at the same time. So rather than going to the massive clusterfuck that was, Tatum and Joe, that press conference room, I just stayed on the court. I did some smaller things for an SB Nation article, a small thing I'm working on. I asked some questions there. I did see Guillermo from Jimmy Kimmel. He did cut in front of me. So when you see his interview with Tim Hardaway Jr., you'll see him shove me out of the way a little bit, which was funny.
You?
He didn't shove me, but he was like, let me get in here. And I knew what was happening. So I smiled and I was like, yeah, go ahead. I had already asked my questions.
Should have showed him who's boss.
At that point. No. I had already asked my questions. But it was very funny.
Was there any insight into why he dressed the way he dressed today?
The leprechaun?
He dressed as Lucky. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's in Boston.
Well, I guess the last media day was in Golden State.
Yeah. That was it.
My initial thing was, is he going to go to Kyrie and be like, are you going to step on me?
He had a second costume.
Oh,
for when Tim Hardaway said you're dressed wrong, he said, okay, let me change it. He had a cowboy hat. He just did it for the bit. There was nothing more to it than for the bit. Yeah. You love your conspiracies, though. You love
That
like,
would be a
taking-
great bit if he went up to Kyrie and was like, "Are you going to step on me? Should I be afraid?" That would be funny. You don't think that'd be funny?
How your mind works baffles me sometimes.
I mean,
Like
have
that-
you seen him do his clips? Like, he doesn't care.
I know, but like he asked Tim Hardaway about how he feels about young Sheldon ending after 7 seasons.
Exactly. He doesn't care.
I know, but my point is like I don't think that was the top of his mind. Like I don't know. Like I said, it's interesting to me how like the next step of your brain works, because I don't think like that, and I don't know I don't know many people that do. Is why it's like funny to me sometimes.
I don't know. I'm surprised. Like, I thought that's why he dressed like that. He was gonna be like,
No.
should I be afraid of you? You're gonna attack me?
No. There were some fun quotes that came out of media day. Some were tweeted there. I mean, to put it frank, like you're not getting much out of media day. Like media day is all it is. Like, oh, it's super cool to be at the finals. Like that was basically the entire gist of media day. There's no real like in-depth thing. Like they brought Porzingis out. We talked to Porzingis yesterday, right? Like we're not getting much more extra other than like, how you feeling today? And he's like, I'm all right. And it's like it's basically just like this feel-good event, like whatever. That said, there were some funny things. Joe Mazzulla was asked like about, I assume the context was like the bright lights of the finals, and his response was, unless they change the light bulbs at TD Garden, I think it'll be just as bright as it always is, which is just like,
And then the laugh track played.
the most Joe Mazzulla quote you've ever heard. Gary Washburn asked Tatum, about basically first like, hey, you're the most criticized player in the playoffs. He goes, you think? It's just cut him off in the middle. Like Tatum knows the bit. It's the whole thing. But media day is just kind of like a big spectacle more than it is like a chance for reporters to actually ask like significant questions, I would argue. That said, the one W of media day is they gave us the homie. They transcribed all of the things for us. So
No
we don't have to
way.
do any of it. So it's kind of electric. So I don't have to go through and transcribe the questions that I asked, but I did end up asking a few guys questions. I basically just asked like, how does it feel like reflecting on your journey, that type of stuff. I'm going to write that article for SB Nation. The funniest response I got was from Josh Green of the Mavs, who said, I asked him like, basically like, how you can ask somebody, did you always think you'd be here? And some players are like, fuck yeah, I did. I knew I'd do this. I do. Josh Green he was basically like, I mean, maybe in 2K, but not really in real life. So like, it's just interesting to me to see the perspectives of like almost everybody I asked outside of Pritchard, who was like, yeah, I knew the common Pritchard.
He's going to be back. Yeah,
exactly. Everyone was kind of like, no, like this is nuts. Like this is incredible. Obviously I'd always want to be here, but I've never thought like actually like, yeah, I would definitely get here. So I thought that perspective was interesting, but we do have all these transcriptions. So if there's anything or any player you're interested to see what they said, I can in fact pull it up. But it's just kind of like a big free for all. So it's like
shareable.
Big complicated.
Shareable
I can send you the link. Sure.
That would be very appreciated. That might motivate me to do some writing tonight.
What are you eating?
I got little gummy watermelons.
Yeah, we can pick through some of the bigger name stuff though. But like I said, I didn't end up going to Joe and Tatum because it's just a big clusterfuck.
The Porzingis one was a massive gathering.
It was a pain in the ass. It wasn't even worth me being there. Like at the same time Porzingis was there were 3 people at O'Shea Brissett. 3. And you bet your ass I was one of them.
What'd you ask him? Just about his journey? What are you gonna do? I'm assuming it's gonna be the journey. Nothing worse. Actually, what would you rather have, Jack? Are you back? Before I ask you, okay. So I have been a victim of the Wi-Fi for many a year.
I don't know why my mic keeps unplugging. I didn't even move it. You saw me. I didn't touch it right there.
That used to happen to me. Remember, I would have my mic just randomly disconnect every once in a while, and I would have to have it wrapped up so tight so the thing would stay in place.
Mm-hmm. No, I just asked for the same. I was basically asking the same questions. I said, how does it feel, to get to the finals, everything you've gone through, like reflecting on that, and like the same like question of did you definitely know you'd be here? Did you definitely think you'd get to this point, et cetera, et cetera. And he said it means a lot. It's a testament to the hard work. Being here is great. Like this generic stuff. So, some people gave more what's it called? In-depth answers than others, but Yeah, it was good. I don't know.
I don't think I would have had any good like questions for a day like today. I don't know. There wasn't anything I could really think of. Really, just
There's
been
not
fun
much
to be
to
there.
ask. Yeah, there's not much to ask. Like it's just kind of like a free for all.
This break has been the worst thing ever. Just makes you like not.
I will say,
Of it.
I did have like so they didn't have everybody talk. Like they went down to everybody who's played real minutes in the playoffs where the Celtics talked, i.e., like O'Shea and Tillman was like the cutoff, but they still brought everybody out. Like Svi and them were just kind of like chilling on the side, and people could, like, if you wanted to, you could like go up and say hello. So I went up to Svi and Jaden Springer. I asked them the same questions. I'm like, all right, let me get this perspective too. Just said hello, what's up, and then I was just like talking to them after, and I go, so how's the break been? They both were like, dude, what the fuck? Like this is fucking brutal.
It is brutal, man. I mean, we who has it worse, Jack? Them or us? Seriously. It's a fair question. Because we got to come up with, especially the way we do our channel, we have to come up with something every single day. And I guess the Porzingis stuff has helped it along a little bit. But like, still, like we're putting together these pods, like as you're listening, like I went through today, I did the sheet. Jack brought some stuff from Media Day, so we would have something to talk about with that. But like overall, there's not a ton of content. Then we have Talking C's, we had Roundtable yesterday, and having different faces involved makes it a little easier. But still, like you got to have something to talk about here.
Yeah. It's very tough, man. I'd say they still probably had it harder. If only for the fact of they could get cold. like there's actual impact.
No, I hear it.
But my God, there's been nothing. We've squeezed it out, and respect to y'all for sticking with us, but it has been tough at times.
Guest interview for the pod. Just been like,
imagine.
Give me your rat list. What's the rat list? Well, it's this thing
I should have asked them for a rat list. He would have done it too. Jaden Springer was so cool. I hadn't talked to him yet, but I like went up and introduced myself, and like I think he kind of like knew who I was because I'm just on the sidelines. But you could tell like he popped up and was just so happy that like he was like, oh yeah, cool. Like somebody wanted to talk to him, and it was very clear like he's very happy to be like in a situation like where he is like competing for a title.
I'm telling you, I like him a lot. He's
cool.
Young enough where you can kind of like get behind like, oh, he's got room to grow. And
he was smiley.
He has a skill set that kind of fits this identity of the team. He needs to develop a jumper a little bit, but I like his defensive intensity. I like that they trust him to play games like throughout the regular season next year. I'm sure we're going to see more of him than we did this year. Just kind of how Joe operates.
For sure. I'm waiting for this Guillermo video to drop because I'm definitely going to be in it.
I don't think he's dropped. That'll be on Kimmel, so you're gonna have to wait a while.
Ugh.
There's
a
clip on Celtics Twitter, but it's just of him and JP. It's not him.
That's all right. No.
You should have asked Springer
Anyways.
If he saw the CLNS pickup game. That would have been my question. Actually, I would have asked everybody that like was less populated. I would have been like, did you see it? What would your advice be?
I would have asked that when I was not recording. I wouldn't want that on tape. I would want that off the record. Oh man. I'm trying to think what else fun stuff happened at Media Day. It was pretty like, I don't want to say bland, but it was pretty just like straightforward. Like they came on the court, you could ask your questions. Tim Hardaway Jr. actually had a fun response to my question. I basically asked him like, the same thing, like, what does it feel to finally be to this point? He said it means a lot, especially being. I asked him like, what does it feel to be playing in the finals? He said it means a lot, especially to be in the first of my family to do so. She's like, yeah, get fucked, Dad. We never got to play Hall of Famer Tim Hardaway never played in the finals. Tim Hardaway Jr. And then obviously he did the whole thing of like, nah, I love my dad, like I wouldn't be here without him, et cetera, et cetera. But he's just like, yeah, get fucked.
I'm thinking my face like this is I'm thinking through the rosters and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's the first in their family to be in the finals. I understand the significance behind him, of course, but like, yeah, dude, everybody. It's not exactly a family tradition for most people to show up to the NBA. Even Holiday was the first in his family. Like he made it before his brother did last year.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch all the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into 1,000 with basketball, hockey, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. One of our favorite picks here at the How About Them Celtics podcast is the Drew Holiday blocks. It's usually 0.5. He just needs more than 0.5 blocks. That means 1 Drew Holiday block. And that pick is in the bag. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Yeah, but it means a little more when your dad's a Hall of Famer who spent how many years?
I thought his father was on the Heat team that won. I guess not. I guess he was done by then.
Yeah, no, he
Must have
didn't
been.
get there. Yeah, he left Miami in 2001. So
That'll do it.
I'm trying to think if there was any other like fathers. Tito Horford never won a championship, obviously.
I don't think Al's dad played, but like Gary Payton.
He played
Gary Payton
in the
Jr.
NBA. He
played,
just didn't
yeah.
play in the finals. Now you got me thinking. I think that's it. Are those the only dads? Kyrie Irving's dad was really good, but he didn't play in the league.
He didn't play in the NBA. Luka's dad's
No.
apparent Croatian or Slovenian legend, but he did not play in the NBA.
Oh, is he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I forget who was talking about this, but I guess the guy's like a dog. He used to be like everybody knows about.
That's kind of sick. Anyways, any other like I can pull up transcripts if you want to look at anybody's interview and stuff, but like genuinely, this whole day is just like very bland. Like it's just like, yeah, it's super cool to be in the finals. Like I could probably like AI generate half the quotes you got out of Media Day today. The Joe quote about the lights was fun. Unless they change the light bulbs in the arena, they won't be any brighter than they were last series. All time, like good for Joe. But
That'd be fantastic.
yeah, if they change all the light bulbs.
Yeah. That should be one of the quote cards.
Hauser got up for his media availability and
Hey buddy, are you all right?
Well, I got up there and there was like 3 people there, right? It was like me, Noah, and whatever. I think Jake Fisher. And he gets up there, he goes, the guy who's like conducting the interview goes, "You got Sam Hauser here for 10 minutes." And Sam Hauser goes, "It doesn't have to be 10 minutes. It doesn't gotta be if you don't want it to be." And so we spend like 4 minutes. Like there weren't many questions for him. Whatever. He did say though, he'll like Jake Fisher asked him a question. He said, if I'm not having a good game, I'll go back and like watch highlights when I'm on a heater. And Jake Fisher goes, any videos you look at, he goes, "I just search my name and the first couple videos come up." Like that's what I rock with. So he's watching plenty of videos this playoffs apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man's running out of fucking games to look at.
But
getting low.
He wrapped up and it was like 4 minutes and he's about to leave. I go, "Sam, you sure you don't want to hang out with us here for 6 minutes?" He goes, "No, no way." He just runs away. I'm trying to think what else they had. Tristan Jass. He's like a YouTube guy. Like everyone's coming through. I don't know who it was, but this guy was like very clearly filming social stuff. He went up to Jaden Springer and he goes, "You, Jordan Walsh, who wins in a 1v1?" And keep in mind, like Jordan Walsh is like sitting like 2 feet in front of him, like he could hear him. And Jaden Springer goes, "You'll score a few. I'll say like 11-5." And Jordan Walsh goes, "Nah, I'm winning that shit 11-0." Like he just goes, "I'm clamping your ass." I
feel
was
like
fun.
that's really what Media Day is supposed to be about.
Yeah, fun shit.
Yeah.
Tillman had a good quote that reminds me on Jordan Walsh. He said, I wonder if I can find it. Why isn't it here? I might have to just remember off the top of my head. Basically like asked about, he talked about how they have like quote unquote stay ready group games. And he goes, "Yeah, Jordan's going to be like nasty." He goes, "This kid's like really, really good." And so apparently he thinks like good praise for Jordan Walsh, which is a good thing. The one guy who missed that I wish I went to, or guess two, I wish I went to Luke. I wish I went to Derek because those two are very funny. And I didn't get the chance to go.
Did Luke have a lot of people around him? He must have been like
So-
the Hauser level of.
No. So what happened was Luke went to the same podium.
Oh, he was podium
No.
material.
He wasn't. But like that's what they called him. They called it podium 1, podium 2, podium 3. It was just like curtains, like with them sitting in a chair, whatever. But he went to the same station as Porzingis, directly after Porzingis. So I think he caught some of the we don't
Okay.
want to move our camera, like we're gonna chill here. So Luke, yes, he did have a lot of people, but his transcription isn't even on the fucking website. So
Did you see Big Perk?
I saw him there. He was in a little booth with Richard Jefferson. But yeah, he was there. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good day. It was fun to see everyone messing around. It was nice to like go talk to guys one-on-one. That was cool. But
Did you see?
yeah.
Did you see Big Perk at the Red Sox game yesterday? The video of him
Mhm.
trying to hit.
Yep.
Very tough.
Yes, I did. Did you see? Did you see the photos of David Ortiz?
We did.
There was one photo where he was holding the. So they brought the Larry O'Brien Trophy to Fenway, and Ortiz was holding it. And he like I don't know if it was the way he's standing, but someone basically just like captioned the picture, like typical girly or something. Like he's got like one foot up, like he's standing to the side like this, like holding it. And he looks
Oh yeah.
yeah. I don't know
forget
what
who
I would
posted
search.
it. Somebody
to
was
find
like,
it.
"Red Sox welcome NBA champion David Ortiz," because he had the Horford jersey and he's just got the trophy.
Yeah, I don't
Al
know. where I'd
Horford
be
on
able to find it.
Porzingis looked good. He's more of a gamer. If he's playing, he's going to be ready to roll.
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
Zanis today.
Respect.
There's your Porzingis update.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we all know he's gonna play. I think he's gonna be good, but
Bill Sy with a post of the Jordan press release about him being back, and he just did it for Porzingis and says, "I'll play tomorrow."
he's definitely playing. But we'll see what he's at.
Was he limping today, Jack?
I don't know. There was a fucking stampede of people between him and me, so I couldn't see shit.
Should have just yelled from the very back.
It-
Hey, jump up and down a couple times. Then
I didn't
underneath
even.
everyone.
I didn't even go to his presser. I went to Brissett instead. Like when I tell you, it was the most egregious like swarm of fucking people I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. Like he had to fight through people just to get to the podium. It was insane. Yeah, it was nuts. But anyways, anything else on media day before we move on? I don't think. I mean,
Nah,
like I said, there wasn't too
nothing
much.
crazy.
Then in that case, let's talk a little bit of game one. I mean, we've talked about the series to death. There's not too much more to talk about, but it's finally here. Game one is here. Celtics.
Today's the day.
What is the one thing you want to see most in game one specifically? Like specifically like the first game of the series, opening, whatever. Like it can be a hot start. It can be this player having a good first game, a good step like this. You like defensive thing, anything you want to see.
I'd like to see Porzingis make some threes. I think by Porzingis making threes right off the jump, it really limits the amount of fuckery the Dallas Mavericks can do. Meaning, if he's cold, they can start to play mind games to him and just leave him. And then it's going to be like, you hurting over there? Oh, yeah, we think you are. Go ahead. Keep just shooting. You're obviously not 100%. But if he comes out and just kind of makes an impact right off the jump, it's going to make things far more difficult for Dallas. The last thing you want to see, as much as I think he's okay, is Porzingis out there and having him being out there be an actual like negative where it's like hurting you. It's like, maybe he shouldn't be out there. I don't think we're going to see that, but I sure hope we don't.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get there. What do I want to see? You know what I want to see? Call this a hot take. I would like Jason Tatum to shoot the ball well. That's right. That's simple.
Good take.
I don't care if he takes a bunch of threes. I don't care if he takes a bunch of inside shots. I don't care if he takes the middies I hate. If he's shooting above 50% and then around 38, 40% from three for the game, I'm a happy guy. Because you know what that means? That probably means the Celtics won the fucking game. But more than that, I want to see him play the right way. I don't care if he shoots, 7 for 9 or 23 of 30, right? If they are winning the game and he is playing the right way, that is all that matters. But I want to see him be efficient. I want to see him dish out the same assists he's been dishing out the whole postseason. And I forget what game. I think it was game 3 of Indiana. I think is the perfect barometer because he had the assists, he had the efficient night, and he didn't fucking turn the ball over a single time. Like that was the barometer for the perfect Tatum game. And I think all the talk of like Luke is the best player in the series, I agree with. I think he is the best player in the series. Luke is incredible. And he is really like for all the knock of like Cam said on the roundtable last night, like he can't defend. He has been a good defender objectively in this playoffs. Like he has stepped up. If Tatum can even come close to Luka for like making it a conversation, then the Celtics just have an overwhelming advantage because the other level of talent. Like I already think the Celtics have an advantage regardless of Luka being the best player, and I think that's where a lot of people lean as well. But if Tatum can even play close to the same level as Luka Doncic is inevitably going to play because he's that good, this is going to be a huge thing for him. And I agree on the Porzingis thing you said too. I think him making threes, almost more importantly, like him being able to stay in front of guys in the pick and roll when he inevitably gets targeted, because even if he was 100% healthy, the injury never happened, he was still going to get targeted because that's just kind of what Luka does. So I think it'll be fun to see that. I'm just very excited to watch basketball again for the first time in a month and the last time for months, is what it feels like. So
it's true. I'm sitting here just twiddling my thumbs all week. Bonus stuff I want to see. Love to see Hauser make shots. That would be huge if Hauser could make shots. Cool. I would love to see an impactful game from Al Horford upon moving to the bench. I want to see him continue to carry his mojo over, even with the change of role. Like, really felt like he got comfortable in the bigger minutes, in the starting spot while Porzingis was out. He had some remarkable performances, memorable ones. Probably career performances, to be honest with you, as we look back, whenever he decides to hang it up, could be a week.
Don't say that.
Just that's what I think is going to happen. That's just what I think.
Really? You think he's going to retire if they win?
I think he's going to retire. I don't know anything.
If they win or in general?
If they win. I don't know anything. I don't know anything, but that's just my feel.
This is like random, and I'm not going to like disagree with you. I don't actually know. I don't care. But if part of your reasoning is because he's selling his house in Massachusetts, his sister did retweet that saying people just connect random things that don't actually have anything to do with each other. So again, that could just be posturing. It could be nothing, and her like tweet could be whatever. But extra context if you didn't see that as well.
Okay, I didn't see that, but I just still feel like
I'm
Al Horford,
possible,
and I win a championship, and I decide to retire. Then I went out on top. I went out when I was still playing well. I didn't go out sorry.
This was a contentious debate on the Indiana road trip.
This conversation.
Is Al Horford going to retire? Yeah.
How many were?
It wasn't even like all of us. It was just Justin and Noah. Noah said absolutely not. Terp said he's gone.
I just think he's done. I wouldn't blame him. I think if he retires, they're going to be in trouble too. Like they better hope Tillman's the guy and hit on a draft pick or something like that.
I was going to say, I think sneaky important could be the draft, because for as not good as I was listening, I forget which podcast I listened to a bunch because I was in traffic for a million years today. It was either like Hoop Collective or Zach Lowe. Someone was saying like, everyone's saying this isn't a good draft, but I know a bunch of teams that like actually like this draft. And I think it's from the perspective of there's not going to be a star, but I think there's a lot of like NBA ready players. And so if you're the Celtics, like looking at some of these bigs later in the draft, I am as far from an expert as you can possibly get, but I do know some names, and I do know there's like, you can look at the draft, you can look at like later in the first round, you could say, okay, like there's some names that you could see being decent thing. Obviously there's like the Zach Edey's of the world, which is like, whatever. But then even like, I'm trying to look at like people in the Celtics range. Like I've seen Kyle Filipowski mocked to the Celtics.
He was supposed to be a lottery pick for a while. What happened?
Who knows? I've seen
apparently bum. That's what it means. Stay away.
Holmes out of Dayton is somebody who has a quote unquote promise in the draft. So he's not like working out anymore. He's just like
pick Bronny.
Somebody knows. I'm talking about bigs. He
can play big.
Bobby Clintman, I know, is another name who people like a lot. The point is there could be guys who the Celtics see as worthwhile. Let's take this guy and we'll rock here, and we'll run with Cornette and or Tillman for now, and then we'll develop this guy moving forward. But I don't know about the whole Horford thing.
Maybe Horford's in on it too. Maybe it's like a team decision where like he has some grace for the Celtics where he's like, okay, I don't want to leave you with nothing. Like maybe we wait till we think Tillman's ready, or Jordan Walsh gets a little bit more muscle on him so he can play more minutes and he's looking sharp enough to eat NBA minutes.
They do have
that
Nemi
can be part
too.
of it too.
They have Nemi, they have Cornette, they have Tillman. Like I wrote about this earlier,
but they don't have this skill. Well, I guess like you could just. I mean, before the season, I was like, well, Porzingis could be the successor. He shoots threes, posts up well, like blah 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 blah. But feels like you're losing a lot if he goes away for nothing.
Definitely, but you could push it all together. Like realistically, subtracting Horford from this team takes them from what 64 wins to like 60, right? Like, and that's not a knock on Horford. Maybe 58, but the point is that
might be closer to 55.
You think losing Horford is a 9-game swing? I don't think so. No way.
Because if you're trying to be cautious with Porzingis, you lose out on that second reliable big guy to play in back-to-backs, or when Porzingis inevitably gets hurt. Like
I think
it feels like you're losing a lot.
I like Horford, and I don't even think you're necessarily overvaluing Horford in the context of how you're talking about it. I think you're overvaluing how much singular players mean to winning. Like Tatum, I would say, is like a minus 10 win difference, right? Horford,
you think he's only 10?
I think if you lose Jason Tatum, the Celtics are still like a 50+ win team. Yes.
Yeah, I guess they're deep enough.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like in the regular season, you play even when Porzingis inevitably misses like 20 games again. You still run Tillman, you run Cornette, you run Nemi, you run that group of guys. Like Brissett, 5-man minutes. You sign a big in free agency. Like you can patch together stuff for the regular season to still like win the East. Like the second best team in the East won 50 games this year. Like it's not like the Celtics are clawing and fighting to try to stay at top, and other teams will come, but you can work something out in free agency. I just think you can get by, especially if you consider the fact that like Tillman is 25, Nemi's like 22, Cornette's obviously older, but like you play those guys, see who develops best, and then you can just start slowly giving minutes to the best player. I think they'd be all right. Obviously, I don't want Horford to retire. Horford's incredible, and he's far better than any of those three guys right now, but I think they'd be okay. This conversation really spiraled.
Well, I think it's a fair conversation to have. Like, I mean, I was thinking about doing something for Celtics blog on it, but we don't want to jump the gun if he's not actually going to retire. I don't know. It feels like a spot for him to give it up if he wants to retire. Like if they win, almost the perfect ending for him. And but he's just tough to replace in my eyes. And I think you would really feel it in the playoffs. And maybe it's because I just watched 2.5 rounds of no Porzingis.
Definitely in the playoffs. Absolutely.
So, I mean, that goes into it too. But bonus thing I also would like to see in game 1 is a bad Kyrie game. It would be awesome.
Sure.
Crowd would love it. I would love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's okay, guys. He's grown. Hey, gang, let me tell you a little something about Game Time. The NBA playoffs have arrived. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Who doesn't want to get in on the fun? With Game Time, you can experience it with your own eyes. Get yourself great seats to games with even greater prices. That's right. You can save when getting your tickets with Game Time. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting those playoff tickets even faster and easier. Plus, the prices on Game Time usually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Who doesn't love to save a little bit of money? I certainly do. I used Game Time back in March when I took the lady to a game. We went to see the Celtics play our Pistons, and it was great. I could look and see what the seat view would be just using the app. Didn't have to be surprised when I showed up. Plus, you do get those last-minute deals. They have the flash deals and zone deals. Zone deals, which you can choose a section of the arena and let Game Time choose those seats. You'll save a little bit of money that way. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right, let's go to the email here, see what y'all have to say. A reminder, as always, you can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com if you have any thoughts on the finals or anything else in the future. Hit us there. We read them every single show 3 times a week. So here we go. First one, Micah Hilly. Team USA, what's popping, guys? Team USA is pretty stacked like usual. I am curious, however, on who the main offensive focus will be. Like game clutch situation, who gets the ball? My guess is they're going to give it to whoever's the hot hand. I find these conversations fun, though, either way. I think like on a team like Team USA, it's purely going to be whoever is hot. If I had to guess, LeBron, Curry, pick and roll. Easy. Like I feel like that's so unbelievably easy. Those two are the best players on the floor probably for Team USA. Maybe you give it to Tatum or Durant or Booker or whoever, but like Steph Curry's 3-point shooting with LeBron's driving and interior playmaking, like probably those two, if I had to guess.
Well, you have to give it to Tatum at the end of games, right? He's really good.
The reason I spoke first is because I knew you were going to make a stupid fucking joke, and I wanted to actually get the serious conversation out of the way first because I knew that was what's going to happen.
I think Michael's right. I think it's going to be a mix of whoever's got it going. This team is deep enough where you have a billion guys that you can go to. I also have a feeling the FIBA game's a little different, even though it's technically Olympics, where you might not see as much star ball and you may see more action stuff like you mentioned, the pick and roll, instead of just being like, okay, take us home, fella. Like, no, like you have too many guys. Just play as a team. So you'll be all right. Sounds like another team I know, actually.
There you go. Perhaps. Also, Celtics injury report for tomorrow is officially empty. So
I saw it. They tweeted out. They were all sly with it too. They were like, no injuries to report, eyeball emoji. Like that would have hit so much different if like they like kept it under wraps. Shame on them. Ruined the payoff.
I think they have to the day before every game. Like they could have kept him questionable or something, but like if 5 PM,
I mean, what I mean is not the injury report itself. I mean the Porzingis, we knew about it days ago. Like if this was us all finding out, it would have been electric.
Yes. Next email. Thank you, Michael. RJ, with love and respect, how I spent my finals break vacation. Evening, guys. GeoGuessr, huh? We all need to get out more. It was kind of you to be worried about me not having an email for the Tuesday pod, but I held true to my promise to step back from the Celtics and NBA media during the 727-year break. I was expecting science would find a cure for Adam Silver's baldness by now, or at least Zach Zarba. Seriously, though, I spent the time reading, getting caught up on Doctor Who, Star Trek Discovery, and the Trump trial before detouring into the insanity of ESPN losing their shit over Caitlin Clark taking a hard foul. And now we're back, well, almost back to Celtics basketball. Can someone remind me how the game is played before someone on First Take does? Be well, and let's win this thing. RJ, I have to blow my nose, so I'm going to let you talk.
That's a great way to spend it. Who doesn't love catching up on TV? I need to watch the Clippers thing. You going to watch the Clippers thing, Jack? The one on FX?
I should, but I probably won't.
You don't do TV. At least long-form TV. That's above your pay grade.
Yes, it is.
Sounds like a good way to spend it, man. I got to get into more TV shows once the season ends. That's when I do all my watching.
Thank you, RJ. We appreciate you. Next one. Let's see who it is. RJ again. With love and respect, things I hope to see in the finals. Evening, guys. Here's my wish list for the Celtics run in the finals. We see Mike Gorman getting some real love from the national media in game 1 or 2. Smart, Rob Will, or Grant Will attend one of the games in Boston. Sam Hauser getting his groove back. Matt Reynolds getting name checked by JJ Redick for a successful green light special. Al Horford dunking over Lively or Gafford, or both. The eventual clip of international broadcasters calling the game, including the Chinese crew for Sam. Derek White's smile. KP's smile. Boston's defense locking down right from the start. Celtics wrapping up banner 18 in 4 straight. Be well and let's win this thing. RJ and still an eager Celtics fan after 49 years. W.
It's going to be an experience. Can't wait.
It'll be a fun time.
Cannot wait.
Ryan this time. Kristaps Porzingis. I've been thinking Kristaps wears the tape on that cab, but why not a compression sleeve? I looked up why to wear a compression sleeve and it states as follows. Injury prevention. Compression sleeves can help prevent injuries by keeping muscles and tendons in place. Faster recovery can help recover faster by improving circulation. Reduce soreness. Compression sleeves can help reduce muscle soreness and damage. Reduce swelling. Can help reduce swellings by encouraging lymph fluid to drain away from the affected area. Thank you, Ryan. This is
I didn't know about this. This is good
didn't either.
information for me. I'm gonna show up to like all my exercises now, just full body compression.
I feel like maybe he's not wearing the compression sleeve to like normalize the tension of playing, but I don't know shit. So maybe he could just wear it during the game too.
I think that is the thing. Like, I think you don't want to make your body rely on it too much if you don't have to. I mean, like, I could wear an ankle brace forever, but I want to run days without it, so my ankle's not bothering me.
Thank you, Ryan. Last email, RJ again. With love and respect, roast the announcers for the right things. Happy Wednesday morning, folks. A quick reminder to help everyone's blood pressure. The finals are not where you go for subtle, nuanced takes and pick and roll defense or Missoula math. This is where the even less than casual fan often makes their entry into the NBA, so the broadcasters pitch their coverage for that market. Get on them when they screw something up, sure, but don't blame them for the pablum. That's a league and network directive. Be well and let's win this thing, RJ. Yeah, I mean, this is when the most eyes. You have to generalize it. You can't get too niche. That's what for the regular season. And podcasts are for. So listen to the podcast. That's what we do.
Well,
and Corrales.
In the regular season, you get the expert analysis from Scal telling you when everybody's season has come to an end, when they pick up a small ailment, and he'll remind you about the 2-for-1 any chance he gets.
That he will. And now you get JJ Redick and Mike Breen and Doris Burke. So welcome to the finals. All right. NBA time. First thing is a very important thing moving forward is the NBA salary cap is getting set to spike. Obviously, we all know new TV deals are coming into space. According to the Wall Street Journal, salary cap spike in 25-26 as ESPN, NBC, and Amazon claim an 11-year, $76 billion broadcasting package. I'll read this. Sam, thank you for copy pasting this. I can do the quick read of how it's all going to work. Unless you wanted to. I don't mind, but if you want to.
I'll run through it, give you a break. You just don't emails. So this is a little rundown on how the new broadcast rights are going to go around and how it happens. So NBC is looking like they're going to land some rights. They're going to pay $2.5 billion a year. And people familiar with the deal are saying that they're going to be just fine. They're going to have over or around 100 games per season, with about half of them going on Peacock exclusively. So that means you will not be able to watch them on cable. You have to have a Peacock subscription, which is not good for those of you that want to flip through like the channels and stuff. And like, I mean, I guess most people use streaming now, but if you don't, a little bit of an inconvenience. You have Amazon entering the fold too. They have a $1.8 billion yearly package, and it includes regular season and playoff games, as well as the in-season tournament and some play-in games. So you're going to get a fair, diverse slate of games on Amazon too, some meaningful ones, and they're going to be in the rotation for the conference finals. So as of now, the way it works is ESPN and TNT just flip-flop each year. ESPN will do West, then they'll do East, then they'll do West, and so on. And it's the inverse for TNT. Now, with there being 3 total broadcast partners, including Disney, which is ESPN, you're going to have a rotating schedule on who has what. And I believe that just means one network will not have that, and 2 will just have each series. Finally, Disney will retain their NBA package, and they'll continue to air the finals with payments averaging $2.6 billion a year, and they are up $1.1 billion from the last agreement, which was $1.5. They're going to get fewer games on this deal, but they do still hold the final rights. ESPN's deal will allow the company to air games on its direct-to-consumer streaming service, much like Peacock, which is set to launch in 2025. It's a little strange, Jack, that they're launching a different streaming service when they already have ESPN Plus
and Disney Plus.
And Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't really get that. That is odd. I don't really know what it's going to be, nor how it's going to work. But a lot of money coming into the league. I was listening to the Hoop Collective, and they were sort of, I mean, they said it in the context of the Timberwolves situation, because all the think of, are they going to have to break it up because there's not a lot of money. Obviously, there's this money's going to come in soon. On top of that, expansion is going to happen, and new teams have to pay a huge expansion fee, which would get divvied up against the team. So, there's going to be a lot of new money coming into the league and into the pockets of owners, or let me rephrase that, into the pockets of teams. Like, teams will be getting a lot more money to do things, and bigger salary caps, all this stuff. And I was listening to, I think it was Front Office Show. I listen to podcasts from in the car. this is not going to turn into I'll use Timothy Mozgov example situation where the cap's going to spike so much one year so everyone gets $1 million like bad contracts. It's going to go up a lot more gradual because they learned from that tragic year of
They don't want to see a
crap.
team get KD again, really, is what it is.
Exactly. Which sucks
Should
for the
low-key
Sixers.
benefit the Celtics, though.
I was going to say, yeah, it benefits the Celtics and it hurts the Sixers because if that did, imagine how much more space they would have with the current space they have. But yeah. Also, Warner, which is TNT, led by David Zaslav, their chief CEO, sells the right to match a rival package. The league could always carve out a new package for the company in the final stretch, but its options are limited. It looks like TNT is getting cut out, basically.
Yep.
Is what's happening. So there's that. Next thing, Jontay Porter. More stuff has come out about Mr. Big Better, Big Spender. From AP News, according to the complaint, the player owed, quote, significant gambling debts to at least one of the alleged conspirators and was encouraged to settle them by doing a, quote, special, strategically bowing out of games so the wagers would pay off for those in the know who could bet on him underperforming expectations. Quote, if I don't do a special with your terms, then it's up. And you hate me, and if I don't get you 8K by Friday, you're coming to Toronto to beat me up, the player said in an encrypted message early this year, according to the complaint. I don't know why. It's just like hearing an NBA player being afraid of someone, quote, beating him up is phrasing it that way is funny. Some defendants, is this a trial, I assume? Is that what this is?
This is like the court documents, yeah.
Okay. Some defendants made a combined total of more than 1 million on their, quote, under bets. But one of them was blocked from pocketing most winnings after a betting company got suspicious, the complaint says. It says the player went on to tell FAM and another defendant that he planned to take himself out of a January 6th game early, claiming injury. He had reported hurting an eye in another game 4 days earlier, but was not on the injured list. There's another thing I saw as well on Twitter that I assume is from the same article or similar reporting. That was Jontay Porter. This is from Stephen Bondi of New York Post. Allegedly texted his group chat on April 4th, saying they, quote, might just get hit with a RICO case, which was the same day he was banned from the NBA for life. So this was a very planned thing. Another thing from Stefan Bondi, federal prosecutors alleged that Porter had racked up a large gambling debt and was encouraged to clear those debts. So that is the same thing as this. What a story! This documentary is going to hit.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be maybe on TNT with all the other like sad sports story documentaries that they put out. Yeah, so he was intentionally trying to get himself taken out of games early. There's this January 26th game that we have here, and then there's another one in the AP article. Same story. Fails to hit the over. His betting buddies cash out big, and he eventually gets caught. Very tough for Jontay. Tried to scam the league. The crazy thing about this is, well, he got caught. I don't know if it's
scam for a time.
The crazy thing about this is he was already in gambling debt, so that's why he had to do all this.
I know. You know, it'd be even funnier.
NBA salary.
Jontay Porter wasn't. He wasn't in the league for 2 years. He played 11 games with the Grizzlies in 2020, 2021. But then the 21-22 and 22-23 seasons, he wasn't in the league. So I wonder if he had all this debt racked up before he finally made a push to the league and then used this opportunity to get out of it, which is just like very backwards. But you know what I'm saying? And like, for what it's worth, Jontay Porter was like good this year. Like he actually looked good when he was playing. Like his stats weren't incredible and he wasn't very efficient, but like he could hit some threes.
Imagine how good he could have been if he was trying to actually put stats up.
Right?
He actually wanted to play well. Imagine what happened the first time is he was with Memphis and he was like, yeah, I'm going to score all the points, bet my overs. And then he got into gambling debt. So he went to Toronto and he was like, well, now I'm more in control of this. We'll bet the unders.
Man, what an idiot. That's so brutal. Anyways, your Pistons, Sam, they're doing stuff. They're getting active. They're making changes.
We're back.
They're doing some things. Break it down.
James Edwards of The Athletic put out an article today previewing Detroit's interest. He thinks they're going to go heavily after the likes of Malik Monk, Nick Claxton, and Gary Harris. honestly, not the craziest type of players to go after, right? You have players on your roster that you believe could be young pieces for the future. Somebody like Cade, somebody like Jaden Ivey, someone like Duren. These are all players who have shown promise at times. You need to get the correct supporting cast around those guys, as we've seen become so important for other teams, so they can thrive and they can have backup when defenses want to empty the clip at them. If you have Malik Monk on your team, you're far more likely to have that insurance in your back pocket. You don't have to worry about, I have to pass to, at one time, Alec Burks, who was playing awful for the Pistons. No, they have better options. The Nick Claxton one doesn't make a ton of sense to me because they already have a billion big guys.
Yeah, I don't like that. What about Tobias Harris, Sam? You want him on your Pistons?
No, he was already there, burned his bridges.
Looking at the free agency class, like Pistons do have more money than most other teams, and there are definitely guys you could look at.
Paul George.
Look at and try to pry guys away. No, not Paul George. But even outside of that, like Gary Trent is a free agent that falls under the sort of Malik Monk-esque probably range of like a guy who can score and take some pressure off your other guys. Even past that, like you could maybe make a competitive offer at Patrick Williams if you believe in him to try to pry him away from Chicago because he never got an extension from the Bulls. Like if you wanted to play the restricted free agency game and try to go for that. There's guys like Sadiq Bey, who's a restricted free agent. I guess you wouldn't bring him back. I forgot he was in Detroit first. But there are like guys you can look at and say, okay, yeah, maybe we bring this guy and maybe he's better than we thought. Maybe he can take some of the pressure off our other players. So I don't know. They have the most money. They clearly have the most room to I don't want to say overspend, but like throw offers that could entice guys to leave their current teams. So
I think if you're the Pistons, one of the best things you can do is properly pay guys. Even if it might not be the right player for your team, as long as you're not overplaying, you can get overpaying. You can get rid of them later. We've seen the NBA become a trade-heavy league. It's all of that leading to transactions. It's not as much free agency anymore. If you're able to have tradable contracts, it makes it so much easier for you to either bring in top-end talent or entice teams to give you more draft capital.
You know what I would do if I'm Detroit? I'd steal Philly's free agents. I'd sign Tobias Harris to like 15 mil and Kelly Oubre for like 15 mil. Both of them. Bring them both in. I like Tobias Harris. I think he's gotten a really bad rep. I think he's a fine player if he's on the right contract. And Kelly Oubre is damn good as well. So like you get those two guys in, that's two shooters, two guys who can create if you absolutely need them to. Like if you get those two and maybe a Gary Trent, like you're completely reshaping. And obviously you're not going to get all these guys because other teams are going to try to sign them too. But it's going to be a big free agency for the Pistons.
Just sucks because there's not a lot of talent there. Yeah, guys just don't make it to free agency anymore.
It's a tough year to have it. Next thing, Donovan Mitchell is. We're going to be talking about Donovan Mitchell a lot this summer.
Oh yeah, he's the new Dan.
Sam Amico. Lakers, Heat, Nets, Pelicans, Sixers will attempt to acquire Mitchell if he doesn't extend. To that, I say, yeah, no shit. Like, did you just pick like all of the teams that could possibly use a guard? Like, I get it, and I get that like we're gonna have to look and figure it out, but like, duh, like the Lakers and Heat are gonna go after a star. Who would have?
They're getting everybody.
Clearly, but yeah, I mean. This is gonna make sense, but whatever. I have nothing else. We're gonna talk about Donovan Mitchell a million times.
Donovan Mitchell's future Laker. Everybody's going to Lakers. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray too. They're gonna keep both of them. Who else? They're all going to Lakers.
Cat's going to Lakers.
Cat going to Lakers.
Mm-hmm. Zach LaVine, Lakers.
Zach LaVine going to Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting everybody.
Maybe not going to the Lakers. Mikal Bridges, who everyone thinks the Nets should trade, or people have talked about it. From Kurt Helan, I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry, Kurt, of NBC Sports. The Nets have been consistent in saying they're hoping to use Bridges to lure as a lure to bring in another star to Brooklyn and build from there. They're not trading him for the third pick. Nice try though, Houston. I've heard on all the podcasts I'm listening to, like They probably want to wait till next offseason because they're going to have a ton of cap space next offseason. Maybe then they can bring in a guy to play with, excuse me, Mikal Bridges. And next year's free agency definitely looks a little bit better than this year's free agency. You look at it across the board. Ben Simmons is, I'm just kidding. Ingram would be a free agent if he doesn't get anything done. There's a ton of player options that people could decline and teams could figure out from there. But even like Malcolm, like there's a better even depth of like role players and like quality guys in that realm. Like Malcolm Brogdon would be a free agent. Bojan Bogdanovic should be a free agent, right? Like Derek White technically could be a free agent if there's no re-signing. Lauri Markkanen could be a free agent if he doesn't get re-signed. Karis LeVert, like Dorian Finney-Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a better role player market next summer. So even if the Nets can't get one of the star guys who, could end up becoming available, i.e., I mean, it's hard to like look at it a year out. Like Fred VanVleet, if they don't want to bring him back, I guess you could go after. But like Donovan Mitchell could be a free agent if everything goes to crap. Brandon Ingram, if he doesn't get re-signed again, Julius Randle, Chris Middleton. Like there are guys who have options who you could end up getting. My response to this is the same as it's always been: fucking trade them. Stop being stupid. Even if you get at best, let's say some fucking miracle, Jimmy Butler never signs anywhere. And then by another miracle, he decides, I'll play with Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn. That team's still not good enough to beat the top teams in the East, let alone the West. What are we doing? Can we stop being dumb? Trade Mikal Bridges for $1 million first-round picks, rebuild around Cam Thomas, whoever you get in this year's draft, and move on. Like, it's not working. It's never going to work. I get that you don't have your picks, but that's called sunk cost. Like, just because you don't have your picks doesn't mean you shouldn't do the right thing. Like, you're fucked. I'm sorry. You fucked it up. Own it and move on. Stop being stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah, the Nets are just kind of handicapping themselves as much as possible, just boxing themselves into a corner. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how far there is to go, but I know there's no reason to tank if you're the Nets, but just get what you can for them. Start with something. I get it. This draft is not the draft.
Teams will overpay. Teams have said they're willing to overpay. Stop. Yeah. It's so stupid. Like the Rockets get the third pick. Get I don't know, whoever you want, Amin Thompson maybe if they're willing to throw him in, or like some other random pieces. If the Grizzlies want him, which they have wanted him for years, go get the 9th pick. Get Brandon Clark, get Zaire Williams, take a chance on Santi Aldama, go figure it out. Stop, this isn't working, Brooklyn. This was your 1 year. If you had maybe made the play in this year, you could say, okay, yeah, maybe they're a piece away from at least being a competitive playoff team. You weren't close. You weren't even in the conversation to make the play. The Bulls were significantly better than you. That's when you need to cut the shit. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And the Nets need to rebrand a little bit. I think
go back to the what's it called? The red and blue.
Sure.
I like that.
These just black and white jerseys are so boring. Utah's back.
I was gonna bring that up. The Jazz have new jerseys. I'll pull it up here. Let me just timestamp this in the
new
recording.
Old jerseys.
They're new old jerseys. They're hold up. These are now in contention for the best jerseys in the league. They're up there. They
look great.
They're incredible. Look, dude. Come on.
Excellent work. Good job, Utah. It's about time.
So unbelievable. This one right here, the one Keontae George is wearing, so sick.
Yeah.
The white jersey is the best.
The home white at home.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Families.
This is so sick. Also, Utah. I'm sorry. Trade Lauri Markkanen. Cut the shit. Get over it. Build around Keontae George.
How far back they finished this year?
Far back. And it's not going to get much better. They're not making the playoffs next year. They were 15 games out of the play-in.
Pretty close.
Yeah. But you're telling me the Thunder won't give you 4 firsts for Lauri Markkanen? Right? You know what I'm saying? There's teams out there that would trade a hefty thing for Lauri Markkanen. Get Josh Giddey too. Get any young piece you want. There are teams that would give you young pieces and stuff for Lauri Markkanen, right? Look around the league. I mean, my favorite website this fucking time of year. I don't know, maybe take a chance on Brandon Ingram, up his trade value, then flip him again at the deadline, get a pick with him and trade that for Lauri Markkanen, or look around the league. Maybe, who else would want him? Miami would maybe want him. They want fucking everybody, but they can't combine salaries. So maybe that's not as good. Like the Pacers don't have anybody to trade, or excuse me, the Sixers don't. Maybe the Pacers want him. Do they want to capitalize on it? Would they give you like Benedict Math? Like if you're the Pacers, would you like Ben Mathurin, Obi Toppin and salary for Lauri Markkanen? I might. I'd take you to the next level. You should make the conference finals. Maybe you want to push, right? Like, if you're the Spurs, would you give the 8th pick? Could you get these teams that are so obsessed with like keeping their stars for the sake of keeping their stars when it's so painfully clear, like even if everything goes perfect for Utah next season, perfect, I still don't think they're a 500 team. Like I can't get there. Like you're talking about a Western Conference. I was listening to the Hoop Collective today. 13 of the teams in the West are going to think they're a playoff team or wanting to be a playoff team going into next year, and that's not including the Jazz. Listen to this list. Thunder, obviously. Nuggets, yep. Timberwolves, yep. Clippers, yep. Mavs, yep. Suns. Like this is people who are focusing on making the playoffs. Suns, yes. Lakers, yes. Pelicans, yes. Kings, yes. Warriors, yes. Rockets, yes. Grizzlies, yes. And then maybe you don't include Wembanyama, but that motherfucker's coming and he's gonna want to try to make the play in.
And,
there's no path. There's no path.
Memphis will not be below Utah next year. Like,
Exactly.
They're not going to suck again.
There's no pathway for the Jazz to be a competitive team next year. Zero. Negative.
There's
no path for them to be competitive in the next 3 years. Trade Lauri Markkanen. There's no point.
There is, because they just had a couple guys in the draft, and if they are able to take any kind of step up, it makes their team a little bit better. We saw Keontae George this season. He played really well against Celtics. Like,
will the Jazz make the playoff? I'm not saying play in. Will they be a top 6 seed in the West in the Lauri Markkanen era?
No, I don't think so.
Then why? Then why not kickstart it? And so you can, you know what it is? Go get fucking Cooper Flag, man. Go get yourself a chance at Cooper Flag. That's what all of these teams should be doing. That's what the Blazers should be doing. That's what the Wizards should be doing. That's what the Jazz should be doing. That's what the Nets should be doing. That's what the Raptors should be, or maybe not the Raptors.
I think the Nets can do it.
Trade Mikal Bridges. Trade Mikal Bridges. Trade Cam Johnson. Gut the team. Gut it all. Be terrible. You can tank. If there was ever a year to tank, it would be this year for Cooper Flag and next year for AJ DeBonza. There's 2 phenomenal draft prospects coming up, and you're gonna say, nah. We want to keep Mikal Bridges. We want to keep Lauri Markkanen, and we want to commit to being maybe a 10 seed. Fucking horrendous. So stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
The thing about the West, there's a lot of teams that are trying to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also a lot of teams that are unbelievably average.
But they're only average because they're in the West.
The record, yes.
Also, what do you define as average? 10 games above 500 is average?
I define average as like playoff-ish level team, but I don't believe in them. Like, I don't think they're a true competitor.
So who?
For me, everywhere from Phoenix down, and we'll move Memphis up. I think Memphis will be much better next year.
But then even then, you're talking about Phoenix down is 16 games above 500, and the Jazz were 15 games below 500. Like that is an insane gap. The Suns would have to lose 16 more games, and the Jazz would have to win 15 more for them to be on the same playing field.
I'm not convinced the Suns will be a team next year. Like I'm not convinced
the Jazz
that
will
they
be better
keep
than the
everybody.
Suns in the next 3 years.
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely not.
The Suns have nobody on their team. They have no draft picks, and I'm not putting my money on Kevin Durant being like, we're going to sit here in mediocrity. Let me just not request a trade.
Even if you took Kevin Durant off the Suns, they would still be better than the Jazz.
I'm just not convinced that's going to last much longer. That's where I land with it. The Lakers, how much shelf life do they have left? Not that much. Pelicans,
even if you take LeBron James off the Lakers, they're still better than the Jazz.
But the Jazz can get better.
They can get better, but I also don't think the Suns and the Lakers are going to the Suns aren't going to be a below 500 team in the next 3 years.
I do not think the difference is as drastic as it is being made out to be in terms of potential. Not in terms of right this second. This season, undisputable difference in record. Yes. But going forward,
There's
like
just no path,
these
man.
teams that are not 5-0 in the West just don't move me.
But they don't move you from they don't move you from the perspective of they're not going to win a title. The Suns aren't going to win a title in the next 5 years. I agree with you 100%. But they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a damn good team. If not for the playoffs, then the regular season. And if they're a good team in the regular season, then they're going to make the playoffs, which leaves one fewer spot. Like the Pelicans are going to be in that realm. Even if you don't think they're going to win a title, the Pelicans are going to be in that realm. They're going to make the playoffs. The Kings are going to be in that realm. They're going to keep trying for the playoffs. The Warriors are going to be like, all these teams aren't going anywhere in terms of trying to compete. And they have the talent to, at the very least, make the play-in tournament. And that doesn't leave any room for the Jazz. Like if the Suns are actively trying to make the playoffs for the next 3 years, they're going to be better than the Jazz. Unless Keontae George, like obviously, like if Keontae George turns into fucking like an all-star, then the Jazz will move up, right? But that pathway is so like a 10% chance.
I feel like there is more wiggle room for Utah to take a step forward than there is for these teams to avoid taking a step back. It just feels like a lot of these teams are due for a step back.
What is a step back for the Suns?
The Suns?
Yeah.
Falling down to around 500. Losing the confidence of Durant. He asked for a trade. I mean, all of your money is in 3 guys, Jack. There's not a lot you can do to improve. Like, their issues this season were largely due to the significant lack of role players.
But even if they don't
do anything,
the Suns aren't going to be 500 next year. There's no chance they're 500 next year. They could be worse. I think they could be worse than they were. I think they could be like a 44, 45 win team. But I also don't think the Jazz are going to sniff 40 wins. Like, I don't see it at all.
I mean, it might not happen, but I don't think it's impossible. I think Danny knows what he's doing
whole
too.
thing,
Like we've seen
my
Danny
whole
with
thing
the
is
Celtics, where he pushed that team to continue to improve despite being in like the rebuild.
Danny also completely tore down, got 2 draft picks that turned into Tatum and Jaylen Brown. My point is
that's what he did in Utah. He got there and traded Gobert and Mitchell away.
Yeah, and then they were still good enough where they're not getting the top picks.
So Lauri Markkanen is the Rondo in this team.
The difference is that magic worked in Boston because the Nets turned into the fucking bottom-feeding, gutter, basement, dog shit team that was 15th every year. That's not going to happen with the Cavs and the Timberwolves. It's not. Like, even if the Cavs completely blowed up, they're not going to be worse than the fucking Wizards in the next 3 years, the next 4 years. They're not going to be worse than the Hornets, the Pistons. And I know you love your Pistons, but they're just not, especially if Mitchell resigns. And I think Mitchell resigns, especially if Mobley stays, and Mobley's going to stay.
Well, you're losing probably half your guys if you're Cleveland.
Maybe, but
not maybe. It's you're either losing Mitchell, or you're losing Garland. There is a decision to be made from everything we've
even
heard.
If you lose one of those guys,
pissed off Jared Allen royally.
Even if you lose one of those guys, you're still infinitely better than the bottom 5 teams in the.
You absolutely are, but they are going to trend backwards. Minnesota has this really weird cap situation where it feels like they can't do a whole lot.
Yeah, but my point is, like, all of this hypothetical stuff you're detailing does not bring the Cavs or the Timberwolves even close to the level that those Nets teams were for the Celtics to get a top.
No, it's true.
Not even close. And so if you're Danny Ainge and those picks aren't going to be top 5 of the draft, like they'll probably float around late lottery at best, maybe like early 20s if the Timberwolves have another good season with Anthony Edwards, who's going to be there for years and is incredible, and the Cavs with Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, either of whom could play well with Evan Mobley for years, whatever. And in the Eastern Conference, that sucks for what it's worth. Like, just is not even close to the West in terms of talent. And your picks aren't going to be that good because you found Lauri Markkanen, who, credit to you, is a great player, right? You got Keontae George. You got other guys who are good. You still want to have top 5 picks in the draft. You're not you're hovering in the range where you're going to consistently be like 8 to 10. So if you can bottom out even more by making, sorry, I had to cough. One more trade can bring you from consistently 8 to 10 to probably have a chance at a top 4 pick every year. Why not make the trade? That's my whole thing. If the difference between a 15% chance at Cooper Flag versus a 4% chance is trading Lauri Markkanen and getting a bunch of other picks as well, it's no brainer for me. Like, especially because there's no serious pathway to improving, etc. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
The
They're also not the Celtics, and they don't have the hey, come play for us in
Exactly.
free agency, because that's
And
how they got good before they had the draft picks.
what's it called? The risk of staying mediocre and not, getting one of these top guys in the next 2 drafts is not worth the reward of what's the reward of keeping Larry Markkinen? The 10% chance that you sneak into the play-in and maybe win a game or maybe win 2 games and then get fucking stomped in the first round 1 year, like that's useless. Just try to get Cooper Flag or AJ Devonta to see your future of, because if you get one of those 2 guys, then you have a legitimate pathway to being a good team in the Western Conference. Like, but you don't have that right now. That's my only thing. Last NBA thing after that tangent about the Utah Jazz. Welcome to the Celtics podcast. Is the 76ers are going to be extending Tyrese Maxey
To no one's
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, duh, of course, shocker. What else would they do? That makes a ton of sense. I have no more insight on that. Good for the Sixers. This was like, if they didn't do this, a lot of people would be fired, right? Like that is that's all I got for you on that. Rat list, shall we?
Yep.
All right, what you got?
Rat list.
Slow day? Or are you just thinking?
Yeah, I was at home today. You got anything off the top of your head?
2 hours of traffic I just sat in.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing I'll be complaining about for a while now. Rat list. It was terrible. Trying to think of anything else that happened in
Rat
the
list.
I don't think so.
They had the signs up at the gym. Free
What
workouts
signs?
all summer for the teenagers. Not good. Very bad.
That's tough.
It is very
That's very
bad. They just all show up, roam around in packs of 5, take up space, and there's just 5 of them watching one kid work out every time, every summer. Always happens. Disaster. Not what you want to see at all.
Ratless my back. I don't know if I'm just old as shit now, or if I have like had to go to physical therapy for my back in the past, so I think it is just a little fucked up. But I was playing pickleball the other day, and my shit hurt. like I don't know if I pulled something in my lower back, like lower left, like a specific area, but every time I went down to like pick something up or like tried to extend to like hit the ball, just like bang, just like it hurt like a motherfucker. And my sister goes, "Is this what happens when you turn 25?" I said, "Fuck." I guess apparently. But I don't have much, man. The traffic was brutal. I mean, I've been doing the same thing over and over again, driving in traffic to get to the Airbag Center or TD Garden, driving back in traffic to get home. I'm excited for the finals to start tomorrow. So that's anti-ratless that the games are actually going to fucking happen.
Ratless lady at the coffee shop who brought in her receipt from the weekend to question the pricing. I went to get coffee this morning.
What the fuck?
And the woman, who, by the way, I probably could have like got in there and went ahead of, but I really didn't care.
Yeah.
Ahead of me was like talking to one of the staff and was like, yeah, like, don't know what happened with this, like arguing over $1 or something. And it took like 5 minutes. I was standing there. I had got my order because they know what I want because I win there all the time. And I just had to sit there and wait to pay before I could eat my, like, I'm not going to like start leaving. I have to like, pay, obviously. I have to sit there and wait. Odd start to the day. Very bizarre. Didn't love it.
That is whack. What the hell? That's very weird. Like, what an odd thing to like.
Had some weird encounters over the last week. It's weird shit
so
going
odd.
on. Oh, man.
Very weird. I don't have much else. I really don't got much. It's been a slow, not slow, but like it's been busy because I've had all this stuff, but none of it's like been. I've just been like going to the Airbag Center and TD Garden and back, so there hasn't been room for me to like encounter any bullshit. Really, it's just kind of been like, I'll ratless myself because I gave Gary Washburn a hernia today. The whole sock thing. I couldn't find a second black sock, so I made him proud because I wore one white one, but I went dual duty on the socks today. And I go, Gary, I got good news and bad news for you. I go, good news. I pulled up one pant leg. He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, finally. I said the bad news. The black, he just goes, oh, he just turns around and pissed him off. He goes, come on, man. What the fuck? What are we doing?
I like Gary a lot.
Gary's funny, man. It's been fun. Like all these like going on the road and stuff. Like I don't know why the vibe is so much more comfortable. Maybe because it's like you're around them regardless of like here everyone just goes home. But when you're on the road, like people are more willing to like hang out and stuff. So I've just had like conversations with a lot of people on the beat who I had never talked to before. Like I talked to Chris Forsberg about golf for like an hour, or not an hour, but like for like 15 minutes while waiting for a press conference in Indiana. Gary is just like decided that he's gonna fuck with me about my choice of socks and shoes, which is funny. Adam Himmelsbach laughed at us driving 14 hours. Like it's like talking to people has been a cool thing. But it's fun.
Ratless Pep was at the Garden today. Did you see him?
Was he? No, I didn't.
Yeah. There's a video picture going around on Twitter today. Him talking to Joe.
There you go.
I fucking hate Pep, dude.
He didn't do nothing. Well, he did a lot of stuff, but
wins a lot.
Yeah, he does. All right.
I got nothing else. I wish I had more. I
else?
don't. Oh, Ratless LeBron. LeBron, there was a clip going around him talking about Joe Mazzulla with JJ. And JJ's talking about, oh, yeah, like, so, all right, I fucked it up. LeBron was talking about how if he's up 6 points at the end of a game, he's going to foul, so the other team can only cut it to 4. And JJ was like, yeah, that's what Mazzulla did against Indiana in game 1. And it is funny because that did happen, but they ended up cutting it to 1 possession anyway because they missed the free throw and got the rebound.
Wait, who went up for? Say it again. I cut out for the first part of the story. I missed the
so
beginning.
LeBron was like, if you're up 6, you foul on purpose.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. And then JJ was like, yeah, Joe Mazzulla did that. He's like, I'm starting to like this Joe Mazzulla guy or this Joe guy. Like, you know who he is. You know who he is. This is not your first learning of Joe Mazzulla. Ugh. LeBron. I wrote about it for Inside the Celtics today because I was looking for stuff to do. I was recovered after putting up my Celtic villains piece.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it and I was like, this is just insufferable. I hate this guy.
Your hatred is impressive.
Also, Ratless to anybody that's like, if you dislike Kyrie, then you're an immature, bad person or whatever. You're allowed to have a different opinion. But
I don't think bad person is taking it a step.
I've seen it though. And I know
I believe you. No, I believe you. I believe you.
Just let it be, or like the high roading on Kyrie is like people are allowed to be upset at this guy. Sure. It doesn't mean you have to be, but people are going to be, and that's okay.
Yeah, I in your context, yes, but in the context of yelling shit at him, that's like attacking him personally. No, that's the line.
Yeah, don't say
exactly. That's the line.
Yeah.
But that's what people are inevitably going to do. Is my whole point, which sucks. But regardless, like you're allowed to hate him. You're allowed to treat him as a villain. You're allowed to boo him. Obviously, like duh. Like he's a villain. He is objectively a villain.
There are people out there being like,
let's not cross the line.
They're like, you shouldn't be mad about this anymore.
That's what I believe, but I don't care if you are. Like, I don't care if you are mad about it.
You're allowed to believe it, but just don't be like, I don't get everybody. Blah, 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 blah. They're all so immature or whatever. I don't even feel that strongly about it, but I'm starting to get annoyed again because everybody's defending the guy. Like, oh, you shouldn't be mad at him. It's like people have grounds to be mad at him.
Sure. That's all I got though. So we can call it there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Turn that notification bell on for our daily videos on the channel every day at 5 a.m. I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We get the finals tipping off tonight, so we're going to have plenty of content coming for you. We have pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps the morning after each game, so there'll be one at 5 a.m. tomorrow for you on the channel. And we have other videos coming fresh for you in between. We're also here live Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings for Talking C's with Bobby. We also have Celtics the Roundtable. Tuesdays usually around 6 p.m. Might push it back to 10 every week. Last night was a huge success. Everybody had a good time. Rui was a big fan of the hijinks going on at the late show. And then we have pregame, half hour before every single Celtics game. Jack and I are here chopping it up. Come hang out. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. If you give us a follow there, those pods and game recaps will go right into your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. Email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We'll be recording again on Saturday. You'll have a whole couple days to get your thoughts together on game one and let us know what you thought. You can find us on socials at How About Them Steves for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our Facebook's the name of the pod. Our streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.